Hello booktube, hello book friends, welcome back to my channel and part 2 of my kind of list of some of my favourite natural history books. So part 1, at which I'll link to in the description, was 5 from around the UK, and now this is 5 from the rest of the world, which might not sound like many, but again, for kind of simplicity and not making the video like 3 hours long, I've just stuck to 5. I probably will do another 5 at a later date, purely because I can't do the rest of the world justice in just 5 books. But these are 5 of my favourites, not in any particular order, just in the order they happen to be on my desk at the moment. And yeah, let's get started. So first up is The Island Within by Richard Nelson. This Richard Nelson was, I suppose, an anthropologist, naturalist. He wrote a number of books related to natural history and particularly Inuit tribes and sort of Alaska, where he lived, where he spent most of his life. The Island Within is kind of his personal, almost personal memoir of the time he spent living in a local village, and then regularly travelling to a uninhabited island off the coast, and camping there, spending time there, observing the wildlife. And this it was in the Pacific Northwest. And this is just I love reading this book. I've read it a number of times. It's just very much what I would call an immersive nature book. Richard Nelson also produced a fairly long-running podcast series back when podcasts were not a thing, called Encounters, which I think you can still find the back, this kind of back catalogue. He died relatively recently, I'd like to say in the last sort of 10 years or so, and kind of left quite a legacy of both natural history writing and the podcast, which was really him out in the wilds with a parabolic mic, recording interaction with wildlife in all sorts of different habitats. So yeah, The Island Within, thoroughly recommend. I'll also try and see if I can find the link to the Encounters podcast, and I'll put that in the video description. But yeah, recommend both. Next up, a book that I bought, I can remember buying, actually, and just from memory, I probably bought it back in the 1980s, at a time when I was really kind of heavily reading natural history books, and there weren't many natural history books that weren't of kind of, the great beasts, the elephants and so on. Very few that were really UK, other than kind of, like the Natural History of Selborne and things like that. But this was a book that I saw in the bookshop one day. I thought, I must buy that. Cry of the Kalahari by Mark and Delia Owens. And this is really the story of, they basically sold up their lives and went off to Africa to study the carnivores and other related fauna and flora. And this is sort of the I think there were 4 books published, and this is the first, and very much tells the story of them sort of arriving, all the sort of problems they had. I think, basically nearly dying a number of times because of their inexperience. And yeah, just a great story. They kind of tell it turn and turn about as a couple. Delia Owens, you may recognise the name. Recent success with the fiction book Where the Crawdads Sing. But this was probably, I think, I don't know whether I'm right in saying this, but probably her first book. But yeah, thoroughly recommend it. And like I say, you know, it's kind of warts and all account of what happened to them. And then another book about the great carnivores, and one which has, I mean, I think probably I saw the film that was made of the book before I ever read the book. So I probably saw the film when I was, you know, 6, 7, 8 years old or something like that, and then read the book a little bit later. And that's Born Free by Joy Adamson. Joy and George Adamson. George was a game warden in Africa, and one day is forced to shoot a lioness, which charges him and the people that he is with. Unbeknownst to him at the time, she was defending her cubs who were nearby, and George finds those cubs and brings them back to their lodge, and then Joy basically raises them, bottle feeds them and so on, and then with a view to releasing them back into the wild. And this is the story of the kind of first. There are, again, I think 3 books in that she wrote, and this is the first one. And again, this is just a classic. I mean, George Adamson to me was kind of growing up was very much a hero, even though perhaps, you know, now we would have a different perspective on, you know, wildlife and game management than we had back then. But yeah, this is a fantastic book. I've got a very tatty paperback copy, original copy. This is a reprint. This is the 50th anniversary edition. So I don't know when this was published. Let's have a look. So originally published in 60. Originally published in 66. So this is 50 years later. But yeah, again, thoroughly recommend. Number 4, sticking with a kind of African theme very much, is Among the Elephants by Iain and Orla Douglas Hamilton. Again, basically, Iain and his wife go out to study and basically live with a very large herd of elephants who are they are becoming a problem, because they're within a game reserve, and it's they are basically taking over. But again, he lives with the elephants, comes to know them, comes to respect them. They come to kind of tolerate his presence, so he is able to kind of understand their behavior, and come up with solutions in terms of how to manage the herd, and he gets to know the characters within the herd. My copy has lovely photographs, both colour and black and white, so just wonderful photographs. And it's just it's a wonderful book, as well as being a fantastic story. I've got to show you that on the back. So yeah, again, thoroughly recommend that if you can find I mean, probably long out of print, but if you can find a copy. So this was 1975, but if you can find a copy, well worth a read. And then finally, something that is I don't have a physical copy of, unfortunately. I would love a physical copy of this. But this is Illumination in the Flatwoods by Joe Hutto. Joe wrote several books on his kind of slightly more scientific study of his relationship with different animals. So there is one which is basically how he lives on his ranch and gets to know the mule deer that live on and around the plains and the hillsides where the ranch is. This one is based down in Florida, and he becomes mother to a clutch of wild turkeys. They hatch from eggs, which are given to him, and then he basically acts as the mother turkey and raises them and lives with them for the first sort of year of their life, and then continues to study them throughout. And this is, although this is very much as for him a scientific study, the book that he's written is very readable and fascinating in the way that the turkeys do come to see him as their mother, and as they grow, particularly the males, obviously then become don't want to kind of have him around, and will try and attack him and get rid of him. So this is fascinating story. It was made into a like an hour special TV series, which I think is on YouTube. If I can find it, I will link to it down below. But yeah, thoroughly recommend this. And that's Illumination in the Flatwoods by Joe Hutto. So that's my 5 natural history favourites from the rest of the world. I guess, as I said at the outset, I could talk for 3 hours about other natural history books from around the world, and we'll maybe do another episode if people find that useful. Let me know in the comments. But yes, if you have been, thank you for watching, and I will speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.